Hello, my dear friends. Welcome, a warm welcome to our channel. And it gives us an immense joy, a pleasure. I'm deeply honored to stay connected with you through these online sessions. And many of you have been giving a lot of feedback and comments, and a few people have approached me with a few titles and topics where through which they are struggling in their lives, and we are in the process of preparing those. So you may have any such topics where you're not able to overcome certain challenges, you're not able to cope up with certain pressures in your life. We are definitely here to help you, and it's a pleasure. We are glad, and this is absolutely free. We are not charging anything. It's our passion, and the reason why we believe we have been created and sent to this world is to be a blessing to others. And I'm sure many of you are like us, and you also want to do something like this, being a social revolutionary person, or a person who is socially bound to certain things where you want to bring changes, right? Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to, right? You become the change, and then you become light to the world, and you lead others, and you become a role model and example. And that's what you and I should be doing. And we all have various talents, and only thing we don't recognize the talents that are within us, or they are deeply submerged and hidden. And these kind of sessions are very helpful to trigger those talents and get the best out of you. And that's why we strongly encourage you to please spare some time every day. This is like 20 minutes to 30-minute session every day. You can spare 20 minutes to 30 minutes easily, right? Or you may be in the middle of, you are a gymmer, you may be walking, you may be cycling, you may be running. Just plug it in your ears and start listening to those, or watch our videos too. Okay. All right. So here we are dealing with yet another topic, a very interesting topic, a very important topic, a topic that no one can ignore. Ask me what? It is about dealing with people. For good reasons or bad reasons, we all have to live with people, right? Many people get into the mode of frustration. I'm done with this people. I'm done with this world. I'm going to this ashram. I'm going to Himalayas. I'm going to Mount Everest, and I'm going for a trekking. 2 months I'm gone. 2 months you're gone, and you have to come back and live with these people only, right? At your home also you will see people. So the problem is not with the people, the problem is actually in your mindset. The problem is actually deep inside of you, or for some reasons many people have been harassed or abused right from their childhood, and it remains as a scar, and they're not able to come out of these kind of tantrums or heresies or whatever. It's got deeply registered into their brains. It's called a subconscious. You go to a psychiatrist, they're going to prescribe certain medicines, they're going to teach you certain techniques, and they're going to take you through certain medical practices, how they will help you come out of it. But that may resolve the problem temporarily. For some people, they're very lucky, it resolves it permanently. But for majority of them, researchers have said that unless and until you understand, you get an understanding of the problem, and then comes the question on solution. Many people don't have an understanding of what the real problem is all about, and therefore they don't get to find the solution. They go invest the entire time of their lives in just searching for the problems, right? And these kind of sessions where we invest time, three-fourth of the time, the session that we spend, right, 20 minutes, three-fourth of the time we spend only on explaining more about the problem, so you discover, and then getting the solution is just like that. It doesn't take much time, or application of that solution is also not a big deal, right? So we are dealing with people. Wherever you go, you have to live with people. You have to work with people. You go to college, you are a student, right? You are doing your schooling. You're in your eighth grade, ninth grade. You may be a teenager. You're going through hormonal changes. But amidst of all these changes and circumstances, you will see various people traveling in and through your life. Imagine you are like the train, and you are the driver of your own train. That is your life. And many passengers will get in the train and get out of the train, and that's life, right? As you travel, how many ever years you are stipulated to live on this planet earth, right? You will see people traveling in and through your life, people getting in and getting out. But there are certain passengers who are permanent. They're like conductors, right? Good example is your wife, your children, your parents, your brother, your sister, all the bloodline. They are all permanent passengers. Wherever your train goes, they will travel with you. may not be your brother or a sister, because they will end up having their own family, so it becomes slightly a distant relation, right? But the immediate relation is your own children, your own wife, your family, and then your parents, right? In Western culture, in American society, at the age of 18, children walk out of home and they start living independently. But in Indian culture, they always stay together, and that's part of the Indian culture. Now traditions are changing, now mindset is changing, that culture is slowly breaking down, but still, please stick back to the old tradition. You will understand the beauty of living with people, enjoying with people amidst of disagreements, opinions not being agreed, right? You will have fights, quarrels. Those are all sweet moments and sweet memories, which you will realize only after the person is taken away from your life. And unfortunately, you lose some nearer and dearer ones, and that's when you will see how much your heart longs and how much you will miss them, which we don't realize when the person is right around us. And the same applies to people at workplace. You may think somebody is terribly bad, but you will end up discovering when you go to the next company, that guy is far better or that lady is far better, right? They had a lot of humanitarian principles which I'm missing here. You won't understand the value. That's why this session is very important for you to stay focused, and we're going to take you through various things, right? Now I'm going to talk about certain facts about a person who thinks they are independent, and they don't need people, right? What kind of thoughts, what kind of statements, right? What kind of statements with exclamation or question mark, or what kind of questions may arise in their thought process is what we are going to help you understand, and therefore we can go through this session together, right? You may be a normal independent human being who takes away the decision on your own, right? And you're very independent and you like to be independent, but stay that way. There is nothing wrong in that. You can always stay independent, and which has a lot of advantages. Why? Because you'll be very confident in taking your own decisions. You may make mistakes, but you'll learn over the period of time. Doesn't matter. But many a times you will need help from people, and that's where you build this independency. You will end up that connect with the people. You might resolve the solution, you might find the solution, you may resolve the problem in no time with the help of the people, rather than you spending almost a week and getting to the same solution. What a waste of time, what a waste of energy, right? You could have invested that energy somewhere. I'm just talking about the pros and cons very quickly to set the context. We have not yet gone deep into the session yet, so stay connected. Very important session. We are talking about people. Why? We are human beings too, right? We need people, we need to support each other, and that's the beauty of life, right? Some people think I take decisions on my gut feelings. The more I mingle with people, they are confusing me. Is it true? Really? Maybe a few times, but not all the times, right? You may have to revisit your statement. If you are a person living by this rule or a principle or a policy, you may want to think again all the time. Is it really bad to consult people or take somebody's advices? And finally, it can be your judgment, it can be your decision, but then nothing wrong in asking people's advice, right? Don't you need not get necessarily confused had you been very clear in your vision or your decisions. Third category is I believe that I know people around me very well, is what some people think. They end up thinking that way, and they end up falling in trap and get into even worse problems, right? You need to judge the people around you. You need to discern between the good and bad. I'm not here to tell who are good people, who are bad people, right? That depends on your cultural growth, the way, what culture you are brought in, what were your philosophies, what are your belief system built upon, what is your value system, what is your priority in life. Therefore, you have your free will to judge whom you want and whom you don't want, right? But you cannot come with the fact all people are good, right? It may not be the truth, it may not be the fact. You may want to revisit that, right? um, a lot of times I dig pits for myself by choosing and trusting wrong people, is the statement what some honest people make, which is really something that deserves an appreciation. Why? Because they are the people who will learn quickly from their mistakes. You belong to that category, yes, then you are on the right track. Be very careful in choosing people, choosing companionship, choosing friends, right? At the time of choosing itself, you have to really test their mindset, attitude, behavioral pattern, and stuff like that. And every one of us are unique, right? Like how our eyes are unique and the fingerprints are unique. We are all unique with our mindset. We have our own taste, our own choices. But sometimes you're very lucky to find a partner who's quite aligned with your own way of thinking and mindset, explorative mode. You may be a very dynamic person exploring things. Very hard to find a match, but you end up finding a match, right? I'm not talking about the marriage or opposite gender. Friendship and companionship, it's very good, right? You can exchange ideas, but then sometimes you end up making the wrong choice. You need to watch out. Am I wrong in trusting people? So frequently asked questions and frequently made statements and frequently, asked, frequently faced problems by various categories of people is what we are discussing to set the context. Am I wrong in trusting wrong people, or is this world very cruel that everyone around me is kind of abhorrent, right? They more or less don't care about me. This is called as people who belong to the self-sympathy category. They are not quite open-minded. I may strongly recommend you to please watch the self-pity session. We have given a very good brief session about the self-pity kind of people and how they tend to assume things and go for a toss or get misled by themselves. Okay, should I always judge people around me and keen on judging them every time on every action? Some people, immediately they will become High Court judge or Supreme Court judge, right? They will immediately pass a judgment. And you know who will do this? Who thinks they are perfect? Who thinks they have no shortcoming? Who thinks I'm not going to do or commit such a mistake. I'm not going to do such a bad thing. Who are kind of overconfident, right? And such people will break down and crash in the midst of very simple failures. People who think that they are not worthy of living their lives anymore belong to this category, who are quite judgmental on people. See, learn to accept other people's shortcomings and fault, right? And never think you are Mrs. Perfect or Mr. Perfect. You do have your shortcomings, just that you are so lucky that people have not finger pointed. Very kind people are around you. They have not yet finger pointed, or you are not a listening type, right? You may say something, you always tend to say that, oh, that's not the truth because I know who I am, right? This is how you ignore people. You are not a listener. Your ears are not open. Always your mouthpiece is open. You are of that category, then you have a big problem, because this time people are all right and you are the only person who is wrong, just that you have not realized. And you need to thank me that I made you to realize for the first time in your life. Last two things, right? We are talking about the various category of people. Why? Because we are dealing with a concept which is centric around people, human relation. Why we need it? We are going to discuss more, right? Should I be ready with full courage and grit to face another stabbing from the people around me, because I've had enough of stabbing, and still should I keep smiling of all the scourges and the beatings that I get and all that? Should I belong to this category, because this world has never given me any good? My friend, my dear brother, whoever you may be, I think there is a problem in your eyes, not in your naked eyes, but in your eyes within your heart and mind. See, it depends on the way how you look at people, right? You don't want to have any relationship with the people. You always want to call them bad. You always want to be super careful. And you have to be diligent, right? Because it's a very cruel world. A lot of people are into this, scam, cheating and robbery, etc. And even online cyber crimes are really, swelling due to this pandemic situation. We do everything online. You got to be careful. Nothing wrong about it. But you cannot go with this kind of judgmental mindset or fixed mindset. Anything and everything and anyone I face in my life are going to be bad and bad alone, right? Then who are you? You are also bad, because you also live in the same world, right? And you also have the same blood and flesh, right? You also are bad, but you don't agree with that. Why? Because there is some good in me. I'm not saying I'm fully good or fully bad, but there is some good in me. I'm not completely bad. Likewise, you also need to get the good out of people. The problem is with your eyesight. The problem is with your mind and heart. You need to look at the good side of the people. Of course, you need to look at the bad side of the people. Ignore the bad side and start focusing on the good side. That's how you and I can cope up with this world. Because in this world, you are definitely not going to get everything meeting your desires and expectations. There are going to be shortcomings. Maybe your own family, your own children, your own wife, your own husband, your own relations, your own workplace, your colleagues, and whoever are reporting to you. You may be a director, you have so many managers reporting to you. Never ever come to the fact that I'm going to strive hard until people are going to meet my expectations. That will never happen, not even after your death. So don't waste time, right? If you're belonging to that category. Lastly, I'm confused whom I should trust in this world. Whom should I rely upon? Right? Very, very important question and very tough question to answer also. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no direct answer to this question. Why? Because I have only one answer, two words. It depends, right? It depends on your situation. It depends on your circumstance. It depends the kind of environment you are living in or environment you are dealing with. It depends on your character and attitude, right? How you were brought up and uh, what are the circumstances and what are the incidents that went in and through your life. All these factors will work together, and that's when you can determine whether you can kind of trust people or not. But whatever we have explained so far on the trust and judging people, and you need to judge, but not immediately calling the judgment before even listening to them, before even analyzing, before even exploring, before even understanding the person, who he is or who she is, right? All these things work together and it will be encompassed in one word called as trust. This is how you basically extract the trust. When you go through these kind of experiences, these kind of nomenclatures, the human nomenclatures, right, human related parameters you go through, that's when you will be able to understand how much it is worthy to trust a person or trust a situation or to depend on a person, right? It may be your own blood relation, but still it just cannot be spoken just like that. You will have to give it some time. All right, we will now look on three rules or tips which are going to help you to understand the kind of people you're dealing with, or to understand and pick the right kind of people suiting your mindset or situation, etc. But there are three common rules, and it has some tips and some kind of explorative study and principles, doctrines attached to it. So we will deal through it, right? I hope I'm not boring you so far, right? You're with me. It's very important, right? Because what I've read so far is like a checklist. You may fall in all of these checklists, or you may fall in one or more of this checklist, right? But still, but don't surprise me. I don't fall in any of this checklist. Then you need to check yourself. Are you really a human being or a moving spirit, right? If you're a human being, you will definitely fall in one of those checklists, or revisit the checklist, rewind the tape and see. Number one, observe people around you properly. Circle that word properly, right? How do I observe the people properly is where we are going to give you some tips, right? And you can convert these tips into principles also, right? Nothing wrong. Ultimately you need some redemption and deliverance from the problem you are going through, so there is nothing wrong converting these rules to principles. You stick to these principles. Do not concentrate on how someone is behaving with you, but concentrate on how that individual is behaving with everyone else, just not with you. Therefore, you get a universal idea about a person. See, for example, if you are working with 10 people at workplace, you may like 8 people, hook or crook, whatever these two guys may do, you won't like them. Why? Because it's fixed mindset. They just cannot be good, is what your human psychology and your subconscious will tell, because they might have done something crazy maybe a year ago or something like that, got deeply rooted in your mind and brains, but you are not seeing the other side of that person. That's why this principle is going to help you. Watch that individual whom you don't like, right? And see how his behavior is with others, see what he is doing to others, and see what his attitude is like, and maybe there is a good side, right? It changes your perception, it changes your impression. Why it is very important is simple. As long as you live in this world, you need human beings. Who knows, that guy may be your savior. Day after tomorrow, that guy may become your own manager, right? You need that favor, you need to build that relation. For that you need to understand, and even after that analysis, if you still believe that the person is not good according to his deeds, according to his attitude or behavior, then stick to it, no problem. But don't come to a conclusion before analyzing it enough. This is we are still in rule number one. Observe the people around you properly. How to observe the people around me properly is what we are trying to help you, right? um, Change the levers, right? Changing gears, right? And changing the levers means nothing but you should have list of things which you can apply when you watch over a person, when you observe a person, when you observe a situation, which is very important for you to apply those principles in life. Watch out if someone is too sweet with you, or they're too loving to you, right? You need to really watch that person carefully. Don't fall into the trap. Why? Because that person wants a special favor or attention from you, or it could be infatuation, which we described in another session. Just have a look at it, right? It may be some attraction that he or she may have. Watch out, right? And this will help you to judge and stay away from unnecessary complications, getting into unnecessary altercations, or all sorts of unnecessary things. If someone is too protective for you, they may appear to be like very caring. Maybe it is true. I'm not saying that it need not be true, or always, right? But it did not be true always also, but it may be true most of the times also. You need to really watch out why the person is super caring for me, why the person is having this kind of, somebody will always come to rescue you, and this person always come. Maybe he's true. If you identify that person is really true, is he is not expecting anything in return, it's not a desire to give and take, I think you should make him or her as your best friend, and you need to travel with such people lifelong. I would say it's very tough to find such people, right? You may be very lucky, and this is also part of your observation skill. When you observe people, see, I'm helping you to pick the right people, choose the right people, make the right decision, right? And be absolutely prompt, not prompt, be absolutely accurate in judging things. If it is partial, then you mix up things. Yeah, instead of good, you take bad, and instead of bad choice, you make a good choice. So if someone is over friendly, that is also something you need to watch out. This is a checklist for observing people. See, in short, what we are trying to say is be smart in judging people. If you cannot judge a person appropriately, then you don't have the right to say they duped me and they were abhorrent, they were rude, they were arrogant, they were strange, they were crazy. All sorts of statements you will make. The problem is not with anyone. I repeated, the problem definitely was in you and is in you and will be in you for the future also. So this is something observation pattern, they call it as, right? Technically they call it as observation pattern. I'm not talking about the design patterns observation pattern. This is different, right? This is humanly observation pattern. It is simply it is simply that you need to be victorious over your failures in the past, in the way how you judge things, right? Even Darwin said, Darwin, right? Survival of fittest. Be smart. If you don't want to play this dirty game, then at least be cognizant of things around you. Be watchful. Be diligent. Be aware. It's like awareness session. Be at least aware. So what happens is, over a period of time, this awareness itself will become knowledge, and knowledge will become your intelligence, and intelligence will become your life, something like that, right? And you will not continue on the bad side of your life, rather you will start falling in the light. Rule number 2, very important, and we will close the session in 3-4 minutes. Rule number 2, categorize people in only 2 categories: either they are your friend or not friend, right? Not friend means that doesn't mean they are your enemies. No, I'm saying that very clearly, right? See, you just cannot accept everyone as all are my friends. You cannot say that. That's impossible. If you say that, then there is definitely a problem. Because why? You may go well with all people, but they are not all your friends. You just need their support. You are good to them because they are human beings, and you respect them regardless of race, religion, color, gender, which is good, which is what every democratic country prefers. In US recently, there was a big fight between the blacks, racism and all that, right? And they promoted a lot of the diversity related materials and aspects, and both people are good now. That's what I see. Okay, since you're having only 2 categories, now you don't have to use your mind in arranging tags like good friend, best friend, just friend, college friend, office friend, and my little friend. You don't have to again subtag it with many labels, right? Don't complicate it. It's just a friend or a not friend. Now you have to test a person in your own style. It's a free will test. There is no rules for testing, because use the experience of your life, right? Use your own instincts. You feel free, right? And that's when it will become the right way of judging things. Certain areas you need to apply the rules, as how we have taught certain rules so far, right? But certain areas there are no rules. You need to be having that free will and desire and that confidence to judge a person you are interacting with. Either should be a friend or not a friend, or you may go through certain tests, but do something and categorize it, right? This person is worthy to become my friend because it's matching. It's not that there is a problem in that person, but my interests are something very specific, unique, and I think this person matches, therefore I will gel along with person, right? It's not about having girlfriends or boyfriends. Now don't mix it up, right? It's about having friends. It's companionship. It's different, right? Um, it doesn't have a gender tag really, but I hope you understood, right? Keep a person under your surveillance for some time. It's like, surveillance camera. You need to observe every move of that person without that person noticing. That itself will become another problem, right? This person is always watching me. They will go for HR complaint and all that. Especially you are observing the opposite gender, it will become even a bigger diversity problem. So just casually observe, silently observe, secretly observe, right? Before accepting him or her as your friend. This is one of the important tips. But once in your mind you are clear that this is your friend, then you should be ready to give your 200% to your friend, right? And this is how the human relations begin, the companionship begins, and you get that moral support. You get somebody to help you justify things, judge things, advise. Sometimes you are low in your spirit, sometimes you are dejected, demotivated, some bad circumstances happen, you need some moral support, you need the support of human being. At that time you will be longing. You know why most of the people end up with the decisions, oh I don't want to live anymore? It's because they lack in the companionship. Enormous examples. You just go through all the cases which you would have witnessed in the past or heard in the past. All of these people end up with one fact: they don't have human beings at the during the worst time of their lives, during the difficult times, during the hardships of their life. It's not about economy. People don't really expect money. Maybe they're, most of the people who end up with these decisions are super rich. They're stinking rich. They're spendthrifts. Yet why would they come to a conclusion or end up with this kind of decisions? It's because they don't have the right human beings, right companions to stay by them. Not too many people, just one person would have saved that person's life or moral, right? And then help them to march ahead. So, but if you think that this is not your friend, then don't waste your resources. Don't try experimenting too much on that person, right? And it's like watering a dry tree. It's like waste of time and efforts and water, right? All the resources are going in vain. Why? Because the tree is already dead, right? This person is not going to match you. Again I repeat, then a person you classify as not my friend doesn't mean he or she is your enemy. Still treat them with the respect, have that love, care. They need help, be having that attitude of empathy. All this is all human morals. These are all human values. You don't possess any of this, then really I question, are you a real human being or not? Or have you jumped from some other planet? Are you an alien? No. You need to have these basic values. I didn't touch all of that because it's an assumption that you don't lose all of these, right? Rule number 3, last rule, and with that we will close. Don't make too many rules is rule number 3. The funny thing, right? You don't make too many rules. Nobody will qualify, right? I will tell you a few examples. You are here on earth, right, to do something. It's good for mankind. Please don't do bad for mankind. Don't do bad for environment. Throwing covers in the middle of the street and spitting. In India it's quite common. You can shut anything but not somebody's mouth for spitting on the road, right? It's quite common. Don't do that kind of thing for the mankind and the society and the environment. You're not here to just make rules, right? That is another thing. You just have to remember that this last rule is to keep you adhere to rule number 1 and 2, where you need to observe a person. And the second thing is you need to really watch over that person, like categorize as good friend or bad friend. That is those are the 2 rules. And rule number 3 is don't make too many rules to complicate things. This rule should alert you if you're going astray in your life. Be a smart player. If you're defeated one time by through wrongly judging a person, don't try to search an ability which will fix this mistake immediately. Rather, throw away that mistake, but don't repeat that mistake. Don't repeat that misjudgment again. That's the only thing which is going to help you. And find the root cause. What made you to misjudge a person? Because you lost a good friend, right? You don't get them back. And human relations are not something which you can fix. You may break something and you have all sorts of glues and favicols and stuff like that to stick it in a way and make it look appear in the same nature as it was before it was broken. But human relation is not like that. It's like a mirror. You drop a mirror broken into pieces. How much ever you bring it together, you glue it, you will still see the crack. You won't be able to see your face clearly. Yeah, you won't be able to find a place in that person's heart anymore. Yeah, imagine if that person was super good, which you discovered after drubbing him, misjudging him or her, right? You will feel so sorry about it. And that's why there can't be too many rules at the same time. You can't judge a person without rules too. So have a balance. And that's exactly what we are talking about, rule number three, right? Now, quick tips. These three are the important rules which will help you to classify a person, observe a person, judge a person, make the right choice as a person or a friend to your own life. And some friendship is long lasting, right? I've known some people who are friends for 60, 70 years. Unbelievable. I definitely know such people. You also might have heard, right? Such people will travel a long time, but getting such people is, my God, it's so tough, right? Because it's like a passenger train. I keep telling you, people climbing down. But whoever climbing and who climbs out, who gets out of your train doesn't mean they are your enemies, right? They just came for a purpose and they're now walking out of your life. But the immediate relation will travel with you. Tips to understand people better. What are the tips? I'm taking that extra 3 minutes, okay? Predict their feelings, right? Understand, have respect for other people's feelings too, right? And then what will happen is that will mellow you down a little bit. That will lower your rules and standards a little bit. Why? Because this human being, that relationship, that human kind of world we are living in is very complicated. It's very tough that people might meet your expectations. You, if that is your attitude, I repeat it, you may not be able to find such a person who will meet your expectations 100%. No, you need to lower, mellow down. Imagine yourself in the situation: a friend asks you to uh, asks you to come and accompany for a party, and you learn that all girls in your group were invited except you. And how do you think? How do you think your reactions are going to be? Right, except you: angry, sad, hurt, excluded, confused, nervous, embarrassed, uncomfortable, indifferent. So many things, nomenclature, the emotional nomenclatures or parameters will come and strike you hard, isn't it? So you need to have that same respect of for other people's feeling through your reactions on them or through your judgment on them, right? Some judgment are passive. They don't even know that you have judged them because you did it in your heart and in mind. But some judgment are out of your mouth. You end up commenting. You end up sharing that with other person, thinking that this person won't tell that person. No, it travels fast. With the disclaimer, if you say, "Hey, don't tell anyone," immediately it will spread like a wildfire. You try it out, no? Tell something to a person and say, "Don't tell to anybody." That is the matter which will spread so much, and somebody will come and surprise you. Hey, you know what? Like this happened because you are the inventor of that problem or a statement, right? You will end up hearing that. So that's the kind of world we are living in, and that's human. What I say, that's quite common among the human beings. It's natural. It's what I'm trying to say. Read the body language. Some of the tips through body languages you can find certain persons approach, attitude, and all that. About body language we will teach you another session. What are the different types of body languages? But body language is one thing which you really need to make a note to judge a person or identify a person or observe a person. Be good listeners, right? And that's exactly what we told you before. Be good listeners of the other person's opinion too, right? You may have heard only 10% of the person's opinion, but you are already judging the person. You might not have seen enough of that person's attitude or behavior or what he is to the society, what he is to others. That is also part of your listening skills. Listening skills means not only listening when a person is talking to you. No, it's also part of your observing skills. What the person is doing is also part of your listening skills. You don't have it, then you have a big problem. In a million years, you won't get a good companion. Why? Because you're not good listener, right? Make making sense of reactions, right? When somebody is reacting back to you, you make the good sense out of it. Why that person is reacting? Yesterday was talking normal. Today, why she is reacting like this? Something is wrong, right? That is maturity, human maturity, right? You suddenly you cannot get offended. Yesterday you were good, today you were not good. You are my number one enemy. No, that's not right. Right? You may end up losing everyone in your life. Some of the good friends, even they go through emotions, right? Not all the time they are expected to be good to you. They may have a problem which they cannot explain. To understand their sense of reactions, right? Have some sense to the reactions. Last thing, turn your understanding into some sort of compassion. That's exactly the conclusive point we are trying to make in this entire session, right? You need to look at everyone with compassion. everybody in this world, they need one thing. You know what? They need help. Why? Because everyone in this world, they will go through one or more than one problems. Can you ask any human being they have no problem in their life? Can you show anyone? Even go to Bill Gates, go to anybody. Bill Gates may have a problem, but at a different level where you and I even cannot even imagine, right? Every one of us have problems in our in lives, and every one of us need help from each other. But without compassion, there is no way that our help reaches. There is no way you will be able to help other person. There is no way that the other person will be able to receive the help. Hope this session was useful. Hope you have learned something new. Hope you're going to analyze what is inside of you, because you are the best judge and coach to your mind, right? You are the best judge to yourself. Okay, stay tuned and subscribe to our channel, and you will get access to so many materials and videos like this. And you need any new topics, please comment down, or WhatsApp us 99022125152 is our number. And you need any other help offline, any support also, feel free, and we are ready to help you. We are always glad to help you. You're welcome. God bless you. Stay tuned, and soon we will meet you with the next session. Bye.